White parents are outraged by a course that teaches students about systemic racism. Another great topic. And yet another attempt to pretend that systemic racism does not exist. White parents of children attending a high school within the Delavan-Darien School District in Wisconsin are outraged by a course that teaches their children that minorities had been historically oppressed by white people. One parent, who wishes to remain anonymous naturally, said the course teaches her child to feel guilty. She said, "It's meant to divide and victimize non-whites and condition whites to feel guilty and to be more passive." Another parent added, "They're teaching white guilt. They're dividing the students. They're saying to non-whites, you've been oppressed and you're still being oppressed." The school district superintendent, Robert Christ, received a slew of complaints from parents about the course, which had an assignment where students had to go to a local Walmart and count the number of dolls that were representative of blacks versus whites. Richard, your thoughts on this issue?
Well, first, there is systemic racism in America.
Yes.
Point blank period.
Yes.
Two, if you're offended by it, then I think you have an ignorance problem.
Yes.
And three, there are more white dolls in Walmart than there are black dolls.
Yes again. Yeah, pretty much. Like,
You
and
just hit the
teaching
nail on
people
the head.
about it isn't like, doesn't make white people guilty.
Well, but I think white people need to be educated of the. I mean, I think people like hermeneutics says that everybody walks in with their own preconceived notions and
Right.
biases. And I think the trick is to understand and be conscious of those biases. So when white people, when they sense a bias, classes like this help them sort of understand where that bias comes from.
Right, and you also like you're going to repeat history if you don't learn about history. So you need to know where America comes from and how America became what it is now, and why things are the way they are now. Because nothing happens in a vacuum.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. I think that you can look at a lot of things and see, just because, and I think a lot of times people feel as though that we've overcome racism because we have an African-American president.
All the time.
And I just don't think that's enough. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be one of those people that are one of your crazy, crazy race theorists about how, everything is racist. Even President Obama is racist. That's not going to be me. But what I would tell you is...
You're not one of the new Black Panthers. No, you're not.
What I would tell you is that I think... parents like this are maniacal because they're missing out on the education, understanding the civil rights movement, understanding slavery in America, understanding the degradation of generational degradation of people, sort of helps you explain of what the economic status quo of where African Americans are now.
Right.
And
if you don't, if you don't teach this kind of stuff, like who wants ignorant kids? Like, these parents should want their kids to be exposed to the most possible things ever and the most theories and stuff like that. Because if they are wrong and their kids are, well-rounded and educated and intelligent, they'll know when something's BS and when something's not. But this is something they need to hear.
I completely agree. I don't disagree with you at all. I think you're right. This is something, it's the conversation that we need to have in this country. And I'm happy that this school district, even though the parents are pissed off about it, they're actually willing to have the conversation.
Right.
And I would
anonymously.
And not well, yeah.
I would debate to you about really having the conversation. It's not really a conversation.
To have
it's
the
more of being
conversation
outraged
about why they don't want to have
Exactly.
the conversation isn't actually having the conversation. If that makes sense.
Well, I mean, I think you need to look yourself. I mean, like Michael Jackson says, you need to, stare at the man in the mirror and see what's wrong with him.
Yeah.
That's just my take.
I mean, I'm with you on this one.
I wonder what the racial ethnic makeup of the school is.
Well, it's Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, it's all.
So
white.
there's a
It's all
start.
white people.
There's a start
Wisconsin
for
is
you.
not all white people.
Like rural Wisconsin is pretty.
We're not sure
white.
if this is I don't know where this is.
I'll tell you.
But I think it's a conversation that we need to have in this country, and I think it's a conversation because we do have an African American president. That sadly, because our president's African American, it's missing from the lexicon of
And when
conversation.
people like Sean Hannity say we're in a post-racial world, everyone needs to shut the hell up. He just sounds like a racist.
And I mean, I think we saw this a couple weeks ago. We saw this a couple weeks ago from when Colin Powell went on there and said, when you have political leaders making comments like "tar baby," shucking and jiving, lazy to a white person.
Don't renege in 2012.
Right. I mean, but not even that. I wouldn't even go that far. But when you call a black man lazy as a black man, it has a different connotation than if I were to call you lazy.
Huge different connotation.
And I think the only way you can understand that is by having a conversation about institutional racism and racial degradation in this country, and this class is teaching that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if people are more aware of biases and stereotypes and stuff like that,
that's what
they're
hermeneutics
much less prone.
Well, no. I don't think
fall into
people.
those
I think
traps.
people. Listen. I don't think you can ever control. Humans can never control thought. You can't control
Right.
what you're thinking, right? But being aware of having like the hermeneutical. I guess I don't know.
Being aware that the bias exists.
Being aware that the bias
Makes you conscious
exists
of
and
it.
working on changing the feeling
Right.
that bias, like learning how to change the feeling to that bias, is how you create social change from a mental, personal, spiritual perspective beyond what that means so socially.
Right, and it's like psychology, like therapy and stuff. If you talk about something, you can usually get through it a lot faster.
Yeah, I think it's important. Where is this place?
So it looks like it's just kind of in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin. I mean, it's probably like a couple, maybe 100 miles, if not more, close
it's
to
not really
Milwaukee.
near a whole
It's
anywhere.
not. I mean, it's a hike to Milwaukee from where they are.
Okay, yeah, so it's probably all white people.
That would be my guess. It's funny. One of the other parents actually said that they felt it was indoctrination, and this is a radical left agenda and ideology that's now embedded in our school.
Yeah, these
And the
sound
funny
like
thing
people that
about
go to
this
the
is
far end.
this course that they were teaching to these students, or like part of their semester, is actually based on a university course. It's not like the teacher scribbled this on the back of a napkin. Some crazy liberal was like, "Look at all the black babies and look at the white babies."
Well, no, I mean, I think you're completely
This is
right.
based on
But this- but
high level academics. It's not.
You have to understand that there's
Opinion.
a whole sect of America that doesn't like. I wouldn't say they don't believe in high academics.
No,
but
I totally think this is like this sect of
there's
America,
a sect of America that just believes that this stuff is not. It doesn't work.
radical liberal ivory tower dwelling.
Either way, I don't know.